Oh, you're giving me the finger? Hi. I'm standing in front of the social work building. I'm harming individuals by asking that question. Well, you want to come down and have a conversation about it?
As a social construct, when you say there are only two genders, those two genders are just social constructs that we made up. From birth, you were assigned a male at birth because you have a penis, I'm assuming. You present as male. Do you identify as male?
Are you asking if I identify as male?
Your gender.
I identify as male.
Because you were assigned a male at birth. Are you cis?
I'm sorry, I'm not sure where you're going with this. I'm trying to understand where you're going.
What's up, YouTube? Hope you guys are feeling good. Today, guys, we're back here into a new video. Today, we're going to be checking out confrontation at Portland State University. Did I harm students by asking this question? This is going to be amazing to watch. This is also from Portland State University. Again, those people do not like anyone who do not support LGBTQ. Whenever you do not support the narrative, whenever if you do not support pride, they are always against you. And this is a professor who came there asking questions, and I'd love you guys to see what's happened next. Let's get right into it, guys.
What would it take for you to move, not all the way over there, just one line, just one line?
I guess if they told me how many genders specifically there were, I can't think of anything that would change my opinion, I guess. But you got some friends yelling at us.
By yelling at him.
Oh, you're giving me the finger? Hi.
Shit, you give him the F.
I'm standing in front of the social work building.
You're harming individual by asking that question.
I'm harming individuals by asking that question.
How?
Well, you want to come down and have a conversation about it?
They're giving him the finger.
Why do you want to come down and have a conversation? Oh.
So you have a class.
Okay, so what would it take for you to move to the strongly agree?
In this man's class, after a long, controversial 10 weeks of lectures in this giant auditorium, on the final day, he posed a question to the students. He says, if anybody has disagreed with anything I've said over the last 10 weeks, come down and sit in this chair in a spotlight in the middle of the auditorium. Here's a platform. Tell me to my face. Which I'm glad. I was the only one who walked down and you gave me an A.
Excuse me. Hi, I'm so curious about what's happening out here.
Oh, it's a critical thinking game where we take a look at claims and you step on a line you want to play.
Well,
You want to watch the game played?
well, we were watching from up there actually because we happened to see the sign from up in the School of Social Work, which is on the 6th floor, and some of our trans students saw the statement. There are only two genders.
Well, thanks for coming down to
Only
talk.
two genders.
It was pretty activating and upsetting not knowing the context. We thought it was sort of a statement that was being made, but not a thought exercise necessarily.
Would you like to see how the game is played?
No.
No. I think we understand
Is it something that
Yeah.
should be a game, though?
An exercise? You want to use defund the police as one?
Well, just thinking about what it looks like.
Yeah.
What does it look like
To the
see
whole
like
community.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 white men with a sign that says there's only two genders? You could have been like the Westboro Baptist Church for all.
What is white? Why did you identify us on the basis of our race?
Well, are you the best people to be hosting that dialogue about?
No, but you.
Be representative of that community.
Okay, but I asked you a question. Why did you identify me and these people on the basis of their
Back to
race?
what it looks like, right? Kind of like the activating, triggering aspect of it all.
So you think that it's morally acceptable to identify people on the basis of their race?
It's not a moral question. It's a matter of like the fact
It's
that
just
those
about
identities
power and
already
privilege.
exist.
Yeah, and identity and representation, right? So if you had a bunch of queer folks out here asking those kinds of questions, and there was
Well, how do you know we're not queer?
That's true. I don't know, but there's not sort of a representative, holistic, inclusive feeling, especially from up on high. We're looking down and we see this statement being made. We're curious about it. We're also just worried about the harm being done to passersby.
What is
See
the
that
harm?
statement.
So there are
What's
people
the
who
harm?
people who went home because it was so
Yeah.
triggering and
We had
activating.
some students.
So I
had
think
to leave.
the end result is
You know you're on film, right?
that is totally fine.
Okay.
There are real people who are really hurt by the statement. So I think
What
it's
were they
important
hurt
to
about?
question that. Because that's not how they identify, and so it seems like a really triggering statement to just say there are two genders, if that's not been your experience. So it's very harmful and very hurtful, and there's human lives that were affected, so I think that's the message we're trying to send is to maybe consider the questions that you're asking or posing before you begin your thought experiment.
Are you curious about like what we're bringing to you at all, or do you have?
I'm thinking about, I'm extremely curious and I'm extremely respectful. I genuinely respect the fact that you came as opposed to 7 or 8 of you giving me the middle finger and saying fuck you to me. So yeah, so if,
What do you gain from this? Like, what is your reason that you just want to cause trouble, or like why are you here?
so I'm fascinated, I do street epistemology, and I'm fascinated if the people, epistemology is from the Greek, basically how you know what you think. Okay, so street epistemology is taking it out of the university and bringing it into the street. So I'm very curious. Okay, a sidewalk or a.
This is like 20-year-old.
This isn't street epistemology. You're doing this on the
Okay, if you don't like the word street, you can call it plaza epistemology, whatever. But the idea is you take it out of the university and you see if the reasons that people have for things justify their confidence in it. So this is a confidence scale. We can do this with any claim you want. We can do this with the mayor of the city. We can do this with should the United States be funding Ukraine? I think it's $800 billion. Should the United States, is it more important to control inflation or employment? And we put people on a spectrum. They start on, let me just explain again. So you asked, so I'll tell you. So what am I going to do?
I think what we're just saying is and I think those questions are thought-provoking and important questions to ask folks in our community. I think what we were struck by was the statement on the board that it wasn't a question and that there was no context clues for folks, especially trans folks, to know that this was not your belief, but this is more of a thought experiment.
Okay, would you be more comfortable if it was a question? Like if I put a question mark?
Sure.
Okay, I'm more than happy to put a question at the end.
A question is a question and not a statement.
More than happy to.
Some type of warning or a statement of like what you're doing on another board so people can walk by and like try and understand that. Because from afar it looks.
This is a thought experiment.
Yeah.
This is
what we're asking people.
I'm more than happy to do that.
And then that way it can kind of.
I'm more than happy to do that. I only have one board, but I'm more than happy to put on this is a thought experiment and put a question mark. If I put a question mark, I could. I don't know. I'm worried that people wouldn't be able to see it, but I'm more than happy to. If I put a question mark at the end and then I put another one, it's not really. It is a thought experiment, but it's more of an exercise / game starts thought experiment. If I put that on the end, would all of the concern vaporize?
No, probably not, because we're talking about real humans with their lived experience and their positionality, their identities, and sort of I might have a very different personal feeling walking by because it doesn't target my identity specifically. So we're just sort of here to sort of advocate and elevate who might be harmed by a statement like
What do you mean by harmed?
harmed.
Yeah.
Well, people who have been historically and currently oppressed, right, by dominant systems, patriarchy, whiteness, masculinity, all of the systems that harm people who don't fit within those sort of more rigid.
That's why you want a question and not a statement.
Can I also ask
Now, I just want an answer. That's why you want a question, not a statement?
I think a question is an invitation, right?
More than happy to make it a question.
Participate in this conversation.
More than happy to do that.
You're representing, with your identity, a belief, perhaps especially when it's a statement. And so what it looks like is you're out here saying there are two genders. And then anyone who doesn't fall within those two sort of binary boxes.
I'm more than happy to do that.
That's where the harm comes from.
More than happy to say this is a thought experiment. No, let me just finish. More than happy to do that. But it seems that if I did that, that would not be enough.
Well, you might have.
But then
to
I just,
I might not be the person to, again, I think asking folks who hold those identities, sort of if that is enough. So asking queer students, asking trans students, asking gay students, if you're asking about race or poverty or religion, or people who are part of those groups can really inform you better than I can.
you wanted to say, I wanted to hear her through.
No, I get it. And I'm just wondering, like, are any of you all, like, trained professionals in trauma-informed care? Like, if a transgender individual were to come to the space and participate, and then there was a triggering response where they needed emotional support, like, are you ready to support that?
Babies.
Because this conversation can bring up a lot of emotions, and the people that are kind of working within it could be really triggered. But if no one's there as, like, an advocate or support, it could be pretty detrimental to the community you're asking. So I just want to, like, frame that. If you're not having, like, an advocate there as someone that can, like, be an emotional support or regulation for the people that are potentially harmed or triggered in this conversation, whether they're participating or not, like, that's a potential thing to think about and could be a flaw in the system, because you need to have someone to be able to support that emotionally, mentally, and for people's trauma. So if you're not, it's kind of like these people might leave and feel like without any support or any understanding of what they just went through. So
yeah,
just to think that.
And we know people who are in the gender minority experience higher rates of suicidal ideation, higher rates of anxiety and depression, and like they're seeing messages like this all throughout their lives. And so campus is supposed to be a safe space where everyone can exist freely in their own identities and who they are, and be learning and be talking about these really, really important things within our culture and society. And by walking through this community member that we care about that should be in class today, learning about how to take care of their community and how to support marginalized individuals like themselves and others, can't participate today because they saw that message.
Yeah.
And that's what we mean by harm. Yeah. And honestly, I don't even think adding a question mark is enough. I think it should be more of, what is your perspective on gender identity? Because then you're opening up the question, or gender in general, right? Because we know that it's not just about identity, it's about who that person is. And by really framing it in the binary, that's where there's harm.
Can I put in like my 2 cents as a non-binary person?
Please, yes.
Cool. I am gender non-conforming. I use they, them pronouns. Do you know what that means?
I believe so, yes.
Are you aware of like the theory of social constructionism?
Yes.
So
I'm a gender studies scholar.
Yeah, so I'm much younger than you. These are all, this is all very new, I understand. Like, my parents are boomers, they're in their 60s, they've had a really hard time understanding. So I've had to explain this to a lot of people in your generation. So you're aware of social constructionism, you're aware of gender as a social construct. When you say there are only 2 genders, those 2 genders are just social constructs that we made up from birth. You are assigned a male at birth because you have a penis, I'm assuming. You present as male. Do you identify as male?
Are you asking if I identify as male?
He's a male.
I identify as male.
Because you were assigned a male at birth. Are you cis?
I'm sorry, I'm not sure where you're going with this. I'm trying to understand where you're going.
The idea of there being only 2 genders is a social construct, because we have this idea of being assigned female at birth, assigned male at birth. Now, I'm non-binary. That's something that I have learned about myself over the last 6-7 years. After I was a teenager, I learned about sociology. I learned about gender as a social construct. And I realized that I don't fit into the box of just a cis woman. Okay, my gender is completely whatever I feel like in the moment. I'm not just one solid thing. Sexuality, gender, these are all social constructs that we've created within our society, our binary society, where we've decided there's only male or female. So many people don't fit into that. And like, why do you feel like you're a man? Because you've been socialized to believe these things are associated with being a man. These things are associated with being a woman. There's only 2 boxes.
I don't know why this man is
but
still
you don't
listening
have
to
to
them.
conform to that.
Because
That's
these
just
people
what
are
society
deluded.
has told you from birth. Someone said, a
They're
doctor
all
said,
delusional,
this
guys.
person has a penis. I'm going to assume that they have to be
kind
a
of
man and
madness?
fit into this box their whole life. But why? That's just
I would love to hear other voices if you wanted to say something.
Engaging in this debate feels useful.
Do you feel that this is a debate?
That's your response? When you say, I want to hear from everyone else.
No, I do want to.
I didn't actually care or hear what you
No, I listened and I'm processing. Would you like me to engage her?
I want to hear
You want to hear from him?
No, I want to hear from him.
Okay. Do you have anything to say?
I actually don't want to hear.
No,
I just want to make sure. So this is what I want. I don't want the reason that I'm more than happy to engage you. The reason that I said that is you have how many people here? 15, I'm guessing. No, but no, let me finish. The reason I said that is because I don't want you to walk away and someone to say, you didn't give me a chance to talk. So I didn't give her a chance to talk before, but that's only because I was listening to what you were going to say. And I realized that the classes here aren't a lot of time. And the reason that I switched from what she had, and I'm more than happy to listen to her, is because I don't want people. It's,
They just told you their pronouns and their lived experience.
okay, then okay, so instead of getting.
The experience of someone that doesn't conform to what I.
Okay, so this individual just told me that, and I'm trying to be reasonable, and I think it's better to have a conversation than for you guys to give me the finger and yell, fuck you. So you wanted to say something, go ahead.
It's already been you.
Aren't you the guys that made up a bunch of academic data and submitted it
to address that she did, like just address you just called this person a
Okay.
and they just told you their gender was
Okay, well, I apologize, and I say they.
That's the harm being done that we were talking about.
Do you accept my apology? Okay.
It's the generation. It's a generational, education. If you
Okay, so.
and want
Go
to
ahead.
change and learn, that's great. I love that, and I accept your apology.
So isn't it better to have a conversation about this than to scream at someone from the rooftop?
Oh, I don't know who, I certainly didn't scream at you from the rooftop. Did any of you guys scream?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
So you guys were screaming and yelling "fuck you" to me and giving me the finger.
We were just saying, please go away, you're not welcome.
No, I said fuck
I think
you.
I said.
Okay. Okay. So
Can I just?
In a conversation.
My goal is to disrupt this. I
no.
don't want any more harm to
So
Yeah.
okay. So I understand that you believe. I can't remember where that over there she moved, but I understand that you believe this stuff. And we live in a democracy, and other people don't have those beliefs. And I want to ask people if the reasons they have for their beliefs are justified. And this is that experiment.
And your thought experiment, we actually have to go. We're not part of the thought experiment. We're all social workers, and we saw this harm being done, and we just wanted to come here with curiosity and also some information.
And do you feel that you've spoken? Do you feel that if anybody else has something to say that you haven't had an opportunity to speak?
Do you feel like you've learned anything or taken?
But that doesn't answer my question. I just asked if anybody else would like to speak. If you'd like to speak, I'm standing here. Okay.
But I think to Joel's point, we hope that this was informative and helpful, and sorry if saying fuck you hurt your feelings. And
No, it didn't hurt my feelings.
I'm glad, because our student who was hurt, we're worried about them, and potentially many, many others. And so that's why we came down to talk to you, just because we have a personal connection.
Well, I'm glad. Isn't it better to have a conversation with someone than to?
Yes.
I mean, isn't that what the whole enterprise should be about?
It's not safe for everybody to have that conversation.
Sometimes it's hard to just have a simple
not safe.
conversation.
Yeah.
Especially when you're doing it like every fucking day of your life.
Yeah.
This is something we're fighting for and advocating for. This is our job and what we care about, what we're passionate about. So sometimes it's hard to keep all those emotions in when we see someone that we care about being harmed.
And do you think that the best way for people to understand, what is the best way for people to understand your point of view?
This right now, showing up.
Thank you. Yeah. Oh, advocating.
Advocating for the people that may feel like they don't have a voice.
Okay, so the people who watch this, because this is being videoed, do you think that the people who watch this, who don't agree with you, as a result of having watched this, will then agree with you?
I'm not asking them to agree with me.
But don't you want to facilitate social change?
I'm asking you to have a different perspective to understand where we're coming from, because we came down here to try and understand where you're coming from.
Did you?
I don't think that anyone
That's a lie.
Did you really though?
Come down to
decide
your...
if this is
Okay, but you
justified.
have to please be honest with me. Is that really why you came down, to understand?
Oh, yeah.
We were very.
Okay, and what is your understanding of why I'm doing this?
Let's care about how you're. It's not impact.
What I'm sorry, I haven't heard from you. What is it?
It's not.
I just want to tell you, we don't care about your thought experiment. We care about
the impact that it's having on.
Okay, so you didn't come down to understand why I'm doing this then.
We came down here to tell you like what you're doing is harming others.
Right, so you didn't come down to understand. That's why I asked you to please be honest.
I really, truly do want to understand why this even
Just
exists.
because we didn't want to know how your game works doesn't mean we weren't coming down here to say.
So what is it that you understand for why I'm doing this? If you said you came down to understand why am I doing this? No, but this is, you've made a claim. You've made a claim. Right. This is what?
Maybe you'll watch the video and have some.
What do you think the result of people watching this video will going to be?
What's your intent? What is the impact it's having?
That's all we're asking.
What harm is being done?
Let's see, this is the rate of delusion we have gotten to, especially this university, this Portland State University. Whenever you do not support them, you are an enemy. Whenever you do not support them, you're an enemy. I've seen Charlie in this university, and I know how they treated him. It was very bad. It was terrible, very, 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 very bad. So, their message is, they don't want you there. Get the F out. You understand? That's exactly what they came this to do. They wanted to get out of that spot. That was their main aim coming there. Not just they did not come there to listen to what he has to say, or the reason why he's having a social experiment. They don't care. They don't want him to get out. So you see these people, they are very delusional, especially that lady who was identifying as they, them. What the F is that? Jesus, but really pissing me off right now, because why would you say you identify as they, them? That the man is very old and she knows that is because he's old, he doesn't know what is happening now. Am I old? They, them is a goddamn bullshit. It's nonsense. It's nonsense. You say you identify as whoever you choose to identify. That is a nonsense. There are only two genders, a male and a female. Period. Period. If that statement pisses you off, go drink water. Go stay at your own spot. You don't come down and tell someone to take off a sign because you don't feel comfortable or you feel like a lot of people are not happy with that sign. You don't have the right to tell him to take off his statement. There are only two genders out. You have no right to tell him to do that. He has a freedom of speech. You understand? So you come in there with your crew members, up to like 15 people, who do not like the man because he believes there are only two gender. I support the man 100%. There are only two gender. Every single one of them who came there, listen to the way they speak. They sound like someone who does not have direction. The professor, he apologized. I am pissed. Why did you apologize? You shouldn't apologize to people who are not having their thoughts, their mind straight. This is the issue we are having. Oh, I don't want your statement to hurt other people's feelings. I don't want what you're saying to hurt other people's feelings. You should have someone who comforts other people whenever they're feeling depressed because of your statement. Jeez. Why are these people like this? Why are they like that? The man shouldn't have apologized for me. Frankly speaking, I don't care about your feelings. I don't care about how you feel. This is freedom of speech. I have the right to say whatever I choose to say. You understand? The same way protesters are protesting and calling Donald Trump the F word, call him a Nazi, call him a fascist, and call him different statements, different word. They do not care about Donald Trump feelings. So when it comes to there are only two genders, oh, you are hurting their feelings. No, you don't know where they're coming from. They are hurting their feelings. There are multiple genders. I identify as they, them. That is bullshit. I keep on saying that is bullshit. Because you are comfortable. You want your own opinion to be heard and other shut up. These people, like how they act, how they think is what that baffles me every time. I'm freaking tired of seeing such people like this. You guys came down in your numbers up to 15 after giving him the F sign from upstairs, from the 6th floor. Then you came down your numbers to say this bullshit, this crap. That you're not happy with him saying there are only two genders. If this was 1960, this wouldn't have existed. These delusional students coming down and say there are multiple genders. Okay, now we are in 2025. These people coming down and say there are multiple genders. How? How in the world are there multiple gender? Telling me gender is a social construct. How are there multiple gender? Tell me. When they give birth to you, how do you come out? A male or a female? Period. There's nothing like cisgender, neither is there anything like they, them, neither is there anything as Barbie. How did they call those people that identify, the people identify as dog right now? Why? We are getting to end time. This is terrible. Watching it pisses me off. I'll be like, how are these people able to sleep at night? How do they think like this? You are saying the truth right here in your front, and you feel like you are going to hurt other people's feelings by saying the truth. What pains me about this video, the entire conversation, was that the man apologized. He shouldn't have apologized. He did nothing wrong to apologize. Whether they feel good or bad about their feelings is none of your business. You are only saying the truth. There are only two genders. Comment down below what you think about this video. Give us a thumbs up. Share this video as many as you can. Subscribe to our channel, guys. I'll see you guys in the next video. Make sure you stay safe, guys.